So you're going to your very first cigar social. Here's a few tips to help you fit right in. Hello, I'm Mr. Leaf, and welcome to the Oak and Leaf Company podcast, where we discuss everything whiskeys and cigars. Okay, first step is selecting the cigar, which can be kind of daunting because there's a great variety of cigars. They have different shapes, sizes, colors, and it can be overwhelming. But to make this process easier, I would say you just got to answer one question. This is the first question you have to answer anytime you're going to pick up a cigar. And that is, how much time do I have to smoke this cigar? And that's going to dictate the size of the cigar. If you have like 30, 40 minutes, maybe go for a Robusto. And then they also make cigars even smaller for those 25, 30-minute moments that you have to spare. So find a cigar that can accommodate the time that you have to smoke. That's step number one. Okay. The second step in picking a cigar is trying to pick a cigar that's going to align with your taste profile or your flavor profile. And what I mean by that is what kind of flavors are you looking for and can be better tolerated by the new smoker. I would recommend that you pick a cigar that tends to be a little bit lighter. Okay, so when I mean by lighter, you want those shade wrappers to be kind of like a golden lighter color. You have other cigars, they're called maduros or oscuros. Those are really dark, really brown. Some are even black cigars. Those tend to be very rich, full body cigars, lots of complexity, lots of flavor. Might be too heavy for the new smoker. So stay on the lighter side, the lighter shade wrappers like your Connecticut's, your Claros, right? And try to go on that part of the spectrum in color. You will find that you will tolerate that a lot better, especially if this is the first time that you're trying a new cigar. Okay, so you selected your cigar based on those two factors, time and flavor profile. And the next step is cutting and lighting the cigar. Let's go over the cutting first. Okay, I got a cigar here that I think it's something similar to what I would recommend to a novice. This is clear in color. This is about 6 inches, 50 gauge. This will last me uh, 45 minutes to 50 minutes, depending on how active I am on the cigar. But this is a good solid time, a good solid leisure time smoking a cigar. And it has a nice light color that I talked about, so I think it'll be well tolerated. So let's talk about cutting the cigar. Every cigar, and let's just, before I do that, I want to talk about just the anatomy of a cigar really quick. This top right here is called the cap. And if you look, it's completely sealed, right? It's completely sealed cap. This is the body of the cigar, and then this is the foot of the cigar. Foot of cigar is open. This is the side that you light, and this is the side that you cut. Now, it's very important when you cut a cigar is that you pay attention to where the cap meets the body. And you'll notice that there's a line that goes across. Okay. It's important that you cut above that line. If you cut below the line, you risk the whole thing unraveling. So you have to cut above the line. Now, when we're cutting a cigar, there are different options that we have to cut a cigar. And so they may ask you, if you're with your buddies and you're about to smoke a cigar, they may ask, what kind of cut do you want? What kind of cut do you prefer? The most basic cut, the most common cut is the guillotine cut. The guillotine cut, I have right over here. It looks like this. I mean, it's exactly what the name implies. You stick the cap in there and you give it a nice guillotine cut. That should give it a nice flat, flush cut on your cigar. There are other cuts that we'll go into more depth in other episodes. You have the V cut, you have the punch cut, and you have the guillotine. Those are the three basic cuts that you have. And some people may even pinch the top off. You may see some people just pinch that off or bite it off. But if you want a nice clean cut, just use a guillotine, right? And a guillotine cut is really good for beginners. There's no need to really get fancy. The reason you have all these different cuts, it has to do with the resistance, the pull on the cigar. But guillotine cut, if they ask for which cut do you prefer, I was saying a guillotine cut. And once again, I will demonstrate it here. This is, here's your cigar. There's the cap. There's the line. And I'm going to place this right over here. Let me see. I'll show it from a different angle for this video, and I'll cut it. And you'll notice this is a cut cigar now. And you'll notice that it's cut above the line. And now you're able to see all the leaves inside. Okay. That side, you don't burn this side, you burn this side. Okay. And you just cut the cap, and that's how you do it. The next step now is to light your cigar. So little pro tips on lighting your cigar. So this is a cigar that we're going to use today. I'm going to use a torch, and typically most people are going to use torches when they light cigars. When you do that, hopefully it works. Here you go. Here's the torch. It's very hot. What you want to do is bring the cigar to the torch, not the torch to the cigar. And you're going to gently just toast your cigar nice and easy, and making sure that you don't char it or singe it. It should be a nice little toast, okay? And then what you can do, see, I'm just applying the heat. I'm not really applying the flame, but just the heat. I'm going to get a nice little cherry. You're going to blow on it to get a nice little cherry. And then finally, what you'll do, so you're going to take a puff and rotate, and that should be it. And that's how you light a cigar. The last step is to sit back, relax, and enjoy your cigar. What you puffing on?